Greetings collectors and welcome to today's retro game review. I thought that I'd take a look back at a classic martial arts game today. It's a game that many will know quite well and have played in their youth. We're heading over to Japan to pick up all the action in Budokan, the martial spirit. 1989's Budokan was released on numerous platforms of the day. I'm taking a look here at the Sega Mega Drive and Sega Genesis version of the game. The game focuses on an upcoming tournament at the Nippon Budokan Arena in Tokyo. There is a backstory in which you enlist yourself into the dojo and your sensei will give you some rather generic words of wisdom. Before you enter the tournament itself though, you should practice on the 4 martial arts skills: karate, bo, nunchaku and kendo. To do this, use the courtyard as a central hub. Firstly, karate. This is classic unarmed combat. You can choose to practice or spar, and also choose your opponent. I've chosen to spar against Sankyu. To win the match, you'll have to manage your stamina and your ki. Moves such as jumping and energetic moves will reduce your ki. Blocking attacks increase your ki. The more energy used, the more your stamina bar will drain. With low stamina, it becomes increasingly difficult and slow to perform moves. The match ends when one player is out of stamina. Instantly, it's clear that managing the stamina levels are the key to success. I'm a little impatient and just wanted to get on and give Sankyu a good hiding. Unfortunately, the game really isn't set up for this. Instead, it forces you into a rather more methodical style of play. At the end of each match, you'll receive a commentary on how the master felt you performed, usually quite critical about the amount of stamina I wasted. Next up is the bo, essentially a big stick. The bo suffers from the same issues as karate. It's slow, methodical, and just a bit lacking in occasion. I have to admit, giving Sankyu a good poke in the face is amusing though. The kendo discipline is a little better than the bo. It still has all the hallmarks of slow, deliberate gameplay, but does feel a little bit more responsive. Last up, it's the Nunchaku discipline. Personally, I found this to be the most fun of the 4 disciplines. It's still slow, but it does feel more like a proper fighting experience. I have to say, I did enjoy this one as I got to smack Sankyu around the face with my weapon, then crack his kneecaps in, and then go back to caving his head in. There is a 5th option, which is to spar with a weapon of your choice. Of course I give myself the nunchaku and Sankyu no weapon at all. Predictably, he gets the thrashing of his lifetime. Thank you very much, may I have another? At any time you can enter the temple for advice from the master. Most of his advice though is to go away and practice. Practice is one thing, but what about the meat of the game? Well, you can hop onto a train to the Nippon Budokan Arena. There you'll face your first opponent. I'm up against Goro. His bio does let you know he's a bit weak at karate. You have the option of choosing a weapon to face him. The competition is far more difficult than Sankyu, who's now presumably recovering in hospital somewhere. It's at this point in the game that you have to start playing the way the game wants you to. You have to conserve energy and be tactical with every move. In my opinion, this is where the dilemma in Budokan comes in. If a player waits their turn patiently, builds up their stamina and ki, there's a good chance you'll win. However, in practice, this makes for a very dull experience. You'll be standing around for a good portion of time. On the other hand, if you try to play this one as a more traditional fighter, you'll be out of stamina in seconds, in which case you'll still then be left standing around as you're too weak to fight. Either way, something just doesn't add up here. The game has some good ideas and mechanics in theory. The execution though tends to lead to a less than thrilling experience, either way that you try to play the game. When facing Goro, if you can bide your time and keep him at arm's length, then there's a very good chance of taking him down. In round 2 you'll face Iji, who comes armed with full Kendo gear. I personally find him quite easy to take down. With the computer opponent using a slow deliberate style such as Kendo, it can be fairly one-sided if you go for one of the faster disciplines, such as the Nunchuku. In round 3 you'll meet Jimmy. No, really his name is Jimmy. Jimmy looks very much like he's just been out with the boys on a stag do and overdone it a bit on the shots. His style is very much that of someone fighting in a pub car park at the end of the night. His general tactic is to just relentlessly mow you down with punches. The frustrating theme here is that there seems to be a lack of game balance. The game wants you to be slow and deliberate to counter his moves and build up the ki meter. On the other hand though, if you don't have the time and stamina to fight back, Jimmy will be all over you. Ultimately, it is this lack of balance that lets the game down in the long run. There are a couple of variants of the game for the Sega consoles. In general, I prefer the artwork for this UK edition featuring the samurai. However, the cartridge itself uses the artwork from the North American release. The game packaging itself is solid and you'll have few complaints. In terms of price, here in the UK, look for a complete set for under £10. You should also be able to secure a North American version for under the $10 mark. Budokan. It's certainly a well-known game to 90s gamers, having had such a wide release. Sadly, it's aged quite badly in several departments. The graphics hold up reasonably well, but the sparse sound effects and deliberately slow gameplay mean that this game is certainly an acquired taste. For my money, I'd say that you can find better martial arts games in this same era, at less cost and receive more fun in return. For those that enjoy a slower paced and methodical style of gameplay though, then I dare say that Budokan can still deliver. It's not a bad game, it's just not quite the game I want it to be. If nothing else, it's clear that this game is a knockout with Sankyu. Hello again, I hope you enjoyed today's show and thank you for the view. Remember, you can always comment, like, subscribe and find us on the social media sites below. Happy collecting!